This is must-have data if you want to know what's happening in Cleveland, Northeast Ohio real estate. We've got 10 years of absolutely mind-blowing data, along with my interpretation of it and a forecast of what's to come. Hey everybody, Mike Ferrante here with LPT Realty and the Mike team. We're real estate agents serving Greater Cleveland, all of Northeast Ohio down to Central Ohio. So if you've got a real estate need here in Ohio, please hit us up, 21mike.com, or you can also call us 216-373-7727. And of course, if you're watching this on social media, please make sure to like and subscribe on YouTube. Smash that subscribe button. Now, I have a very special market update for you. We're going to get into a bunch of graphs and literally 10-year look back of data to understand what is going to happen in the upcoming year 2026. Let's get into it. All right, guys, here we go. 10-year market real estate study plus a forecast for Greater Cleveland. We're going to analyze the numbers and look at data for 10 years of Cuyahoga County. That's a beautiful shot of the city there. Here is what we're incorporating. We've got listings, active listings, and we're going to see the 10-year trend. Median sale price, days to sell, number of sales, and months of inventory, also called absorption rate. And the lower the months of inventory, the stronger the seller's market is. So the months of inventory, how many months it would take to sell all the homes on the market if no new homes hit the market. We're going to cover 3 property types, single family and condos, all in one group. Then we're going to look at luxury properties, 600K and up. Yes, very affordable here in Northeast Ohio. And lastly, we'll look at multifamily homes, 2 to 4 family. And I'm also going to throw in some pictures of homes that we've sold over the last couple of years. By the way, there will be some QR codes throughout. Feel free to grab those and either schedule an appointment with me or someone on the team. You can go to 21mike.com and do the same thing. And I'll also have my contact info. So first of all, inventory. This is number of active listings. This has been the big story for 10 years. As you look back at the tail end of this graph in 2016, we had around 6,000 active listings in Cuyahoga County. And then in 2020, 2021, that's when that massive dive occurred. Rates were incredibly low. Buyer demand picked up. And we never really caught up. And you can see the rest of that graph. This is the new normal. Okay, this 2,000 to 3,000 listings on the market, that is the new normal right now. And you can see it's starting to tick up from where it was at its bottom. But the reality is that inventory is still at historic lows, which really tells us a lot about the market. Now I'm looking at the price. How has price evolved over time? And we know, guys, price has gone up. We've literally doubled in value from 2016. We were around 100,000 for the median sale price, and now we're up over 200,000. So values continue to trend upwards. One thing to note here is the seasonal rise and fall. Summer, spring, prices tend to go up, and fall and winter, they tend to dip. Now, does that mean you should time the market? Not necessarily. Okay, it's just a matter of that little seasonal swing could make a difference for when you sell your home ever so slightly if you have the ability to sell your home during the more hot period. Okay, but overall, median sale price trending upwards. Now, our next statistic here, this is days to sell. So back in 2016, 2017, it wasn't uncommon to take 50 to almost 80 days to sell a property. And then again, 2020, that number plummeted. That's when it became an extreme super seller's market. We even got down to single digits in the summer months. So again, you see the seasonality here. In the wintertime, it takes a little longer to sell. 2023, you can see we got to nearly 40 days. But in the more balanced market, we were up like around 60 to 80 days to sell a home. And you can see, again, this is the new normal. Now, what this means for buyers is that it's still a tight inventory market, and we've had to move quickly if you're looking to buy a home. You can't wait too long. You have to come in with a strong offer if it's priced correctly. So we'll get more into price and timing here in a second. How about number of sales? Another big story here. A lot of agents are talking about this. And you can see the numbers were higher in past years. And you can see the last 3 years, those numbers are markedly lower. And that has led to fewer overall transactions. Agents are hurting a little bit. But homes are still selling. So it's not a matter of homes not selling. There's just fewer homes selling. And again, we see the seasonality. Those peaks are spring, summer, beginning of fall, and it dips. The number of transaction dips in the winter. So does that mean you should not sell in the winter? I say no. If you need to sell in the winter, you have less competition, more negotiating power. We just did a open house in the middle of one of the biggest blizzards that we've had in January, and we had 5 people come to $1 million open house. So buyers are really motivated during that time. It just becomes more critical to price correctly and have the home prepared and promoted correctly in those winter months. It's always important, but of course, when inventory and activity is down, it becomes extra important to do those things. Now, as a buyer, again, you have to move quickly. All right, so let's talk about months of inventory. This is sort of that mysterious absorption rate thing, and it tells the same story. We were looking at 4 to 6 months pretty much, which is a balanced market. That means there's enough supply to meet the demand. And of course, in 2020, the bottom fell out, and we're still in the 1 to 3 months of inventory range here in Northeast Ohio, which is a strong seller's market. Very clear indicator here. I'm going to switch over to luxury properties now, and these numbers are going to be muted to some extent. This is 600,000 and up in Cuyahoga County. We can see the number of inventory, number of active listings did drop. And we also have the seasonal rises and falls, more listings hitting the market in spring and summer, fewer in fall and winter. But overall, you can see that inventory is down. So it's still a limited inventory market in the luxury range, but not as severe. So that tells me if I'm a seller of luxury property, I really need to sharpen my pencil on the list price. Remember, your list price is a marketing tool. Overpriced listings will sit for a while. And if you're priced competitively, the market will determine your price. So let's talk a little bit about that. Number of sales, same sort of pattern here. And you can see that line for summer versus winter, it's actually a little bit amplified here, which is very interesting to see. So we do have seasonality in the number of sales. Now let's take a look at the days to sell median. Again, this is a much smaller sample size, and that's why we have the wide variation here. But look at the overall trend. Days to sell going way down, typically under 40 days, which if you're a seller, that's fantastic if you're selling luxury properties. And then I'm going to look at months of inventory. That absorption rate, again, you can see the wild fluctuations in the beginning of the graph. And now again, we're consistently down in number of months to sell being more like the overall market. Okay, only a few months to sell all the luxury properties that are on the market if no new listings hit the market. All right, let's shift over to multifamily homes. And after this, we'll do a quick forecast of what I think is going to happen. So multifamily homes, this is 2 to 4 family homes. We're not talking about big commercial stuff here. We're just talking about 2 to 4 family duplexes, threeplexes, and quads. And you can see not quite the same effect here in the number of listings. It did dip, and now we're nearly back up to the balanced market levels for multifamily. And I think that's because of the interest rate hike. Your investors are no longer able to make sense. They call it underwriting. They're no longer to underwrite purchases of multifamily homes if they're financing. So there's less demand for multifamily homes, which has allowed the inventory to rise. Now, if we look at the number of sales, still that same trend. We had that peak during 2020 to 2022, and we still have a good number of sales. So the market is active. I don't see a crash coming in multifamily because the activity is still good. There's still somewhat limited inventory. And of course, closed price, median, it's still going up. If you've invested in multifamily over the years, especially in Cleveland proper, where during the recession, I was selling duplexes for 10, 20, 30,000. Those things are selling for 80 to 120 now. And yes, those prices are still real. But overall, your value continues to trend upward. And here you see the seasonal variations. How about days to sell? Same sort of trend here, 50, 60, 70 days during a balanced market. And now overall, we're in the 10 to 30 day range. So overall, still a seller's market based on days to sell, but inventory is creeping up, and we'll get into that in the forecast. All right, last thing, months of inventory absorption rate, the same story. Okay, it's following the residential and luxury trends to some extent. We are still selling homes. There's only 2 to 4 months of inventory on the market right now in the 2 to 4 family range. All right, so talk about the conclusion and the forecast. We know what happened. We know that there was a massive recession, the Great Recession, as they call it. Inventory went way up. We had 9, 10 months of inventory during the recession. And then as the market slowly recovered, we saw those prices bounce back. Again, I was selling homes, single family homes in the Cleveland and surrounding suburb area for anywhere from 50 to 100,000. Now it's really hard once again to get anything under 100,000. Still, we're talking peanuts here, right, guys? Outside of our market, investors and people who are relocating here are still amazed at the value you get for the money. I have people relocating from California, for example, and say, "Hey, can I get a nice house for 400,000?" The answer is absolutely yes. So you still have extreme affordability here, and you also still have extreme affordability from an investor standpoint. Homes can be bought and they still will meet the 1% rule. Okay, that is, if a house is 200,000, can you get $2,000 in rent for it? Okay, so that's the 1% rule. So overall, we're seeing in the last 10 years a slight rise in inventory. We're seeing prices steadily creeping upward, market time staying low, months of inventory staying low. Everything is pointing toward a seller's market right now. And I think that trend will continue. I think that the interest rates are going to keep creeping downward. No one really knows for sure. But as interest rates approach the fives, get into the fives, I think you'll see increased demand, which will start ramping up that seller's market again. Those prices are going to start shooting up. And I think that we're going to see the Fed be really careful with how low they make rates. We're not going to see 2s, 3s, and 4s again, guys. I just can't see it happening. Could we see 5s? Maybe. And should they go up? I think you're going to see a big drop in the housing market from a number of transactions perspective. I don't think prices will crash. They could flatline. But what I think is going to happen, based on the data that we're seeing and what we're hearing from the Fed and from banks, rates in the 5s, maybe 6s, and the continuing of this seller's market. So what you need to do if you're a seller, price right, prepare the home, and make sure that the agent you hire is promoting it correctly. Okay, overpricing will lead to longer market times. We're already seeing it. We have sellers who think they can still price like it's 2020, 2021. Those homes are lingering on the market. That will continue. If you're looking to buy, guys, you know when a home is priced right. You're expert just like we are. You're going and looking at the homes. You're on the third-party websites. So when you know a home is priced right, do not delay. Get in with your offer, get in strong, and get with an agent that can help you construct an offer that is more appealing to the seller. Okay, we're still going to see some multiple offers and some competitive situations. So it's so important to come in with a strong offer when you know there's going to be competition. Where are the opportunities? Maybe in homes that have been listed for a while, maybe in homes that are not marketed well. I'm looking at homes online and I'm seeing 1, 2, 5 pictures and no interior photos sometimes. Those are great opportunities for you possibly to get a deal on something that's not marketed well. All right, guys, that's what I have for you today. If you need more info, please schedule an appointment with me. Go to 21mike.com, click that giant button at the top to schedule an appointment with me or someone on the team, or you can reach out to me directly. I'll give you my direct email. It's mike@21mike.com. And please subscribe so you don't miss our monthly market updates. This one was special. I went into big detail, but each month I'm going to give you the numbers so you can see what's happening month by month in the Northeast Ohio, Greater Cleveland real estate market. Thanks, everybody.